First Contact Fiasco. High Admiral Zixtal of the Galactic Diplomatic Corps stared through the observation window of the GCV Harmony, his crystalline form reflecting the blue-green orb of Earth below. After decades of debate, the Council had finally agreed to make official first contact with this peculiar world. Intelligence suggested humans were on the cusp of achieving faster-than-light travel, making them eligible for membership in the galactic community. Are you certain about these preliminary reports? Zixtal's translucent appendages flickered with concern as he addressed his chief xenobiologist, Dr. Venra. The insectoid researcher's antennae twitched as she consulted her datapad. Absolutely, Admiral. Humans share their living spaces with multiple species of predatory creatures. They call them pets. The most common are small carnivorous hunters they refer to as cats. Preposterous. Zixtal's crystalline structure vibrated with disbelief. No rational species would cohabitate with predators. The diplomatic team's descent to Earth's surface proceeded smoothly until they reached the designated meeting point, the United Earth Embassy in Geneva. As the delegation made their way through the building's pristine corridors, Dr. Venra's sensors detected movement in the shadows. Admiral, she whispered, mandibles clicking nervously. Something is stalking us. Before Zixtal could respond, a sleek black shape emerged from behind a potted plant. The creature moved with impossible grace, its green eyes fixed on the alien delegation. The emergency translator struggled to process the sound it made. Murrow. Chaos erupted among the delegation. 3 junior diplomats attempted to activate their emergency teleporters, while Dr. Venra's wings burst from their ceremonial covering in instinctive panic. Only Zixtal maintained his composure, though his crystalline form had shifted to a distinctly alarmed shade of purple. "Oh God, I'm so sorry." A human female in diplomatic uniform rushed forward. "Mr. Whiskers, you know you're not supposed to be in this section." She scooped up the black creature, which began emitting a rhythmic vibration. Ambassador Chen, the human, introduced herself, still holding the purring cat. "I see you've met our unofficial welcoming committee. You handle this predator with bare appendages." Dr. Venra's scientific curiosity momentarily overcame her fear. "Mr. Whiskers, he's the embassy's resident mouser, completely harmless. Well, unless you're a mouse." Ambassador Chen smiled, scratching behind the cat's ears. "Would anyone like to pet him?" The delegation took a collective step backward. What followed was perhaps the most unusual first contact briefing in galactic history. Ambassador Chen, along with her colleagues, attempted to explain humanity's long relationship with domesticated animals. The aliens struggled to comprehend a species that had not only tamed predators, but had given them names like Mr. Whiskers and Princess Sparkles. "Let me understand this correctly," Zixtal's translator crackled. "You provide these creatures with shelter, sustenance, and medical care, expecting nothing in return except occasional displays of affection. Well, they also help keep vermin under control, provide companionship, and—" Chen's explanation was interrupted by a crash from the conference room's refreshment table. Mr. Whiskers had decided the alien delegation's water glasses made excellent targets for his particular brand of gravity experiments. "They do that too," Chen admitted, watching the cat proudly survey his handiwork. "We call that scientific curiosity." The situation grew more complicated when the delegation discovered that Earth's felines had an unexpected effect on their technology. Dr. Venra's sensors began producing unusual readings whenever a cat came near, and the ship's AI reported strange fluctuations in its quantum processors that corresponded with the creature's purring frequencies. As the day progressed, more cats emerged from various corners of the embassy. Each appearance sent ripples of anxiety through the alien delegation, but also sparked undeniable curiosity. By the end of the briefing, Dr. Venra was secretly recording the purring frequencies, while one junior diplomat had been caught attempting to offer treats to a particularly friendly tabby. "Admiral," Dr. Venra approached Zixtal as they prepared to return to their ship. "I believe we may need to revise our assessment of human civilization." "How so?" The Admiral's crystalline form had settled into a thoughtful blue hue. Any species that can turn apex predators into willing companions, creatures that choose to stay despite being fully capable of survival on their own, possesses capabilities we don't fully understand. And these cats seem to have some kind of effect on our technology that defies explanation. Zixtal watched as Mr. Whiskers wove between Ambassador Chen's legs, then fixed the Admiral with an unnervingly intelligent stare. "Prepare a priority communication to the Council," he ordered. "Earth requires a unique classification." And he hesitated, his form shifting to an embarrassed pink. "Perhaps inquire about the protocols for establishing a permanent feline liaison office." As the alien delegation departed, Ambassador Chen scratched Mr. Whiskers under his chin. "Well done, Minister of Interspecies Relations," she whispered. "Though maybe next time. Leave the water glasses alone." The cat's purr merely intensified, and somewhere in the embassy's quantum communication array, frequencies shifted in ways that would keep alien scientists puzzled for years to come. Humanity's first step into the galactic community had been marked not by their technological achievements or military might, but by the mysterious creatures they called pets, and the galaxy would never be quite the same. The Great Feline Incident. The Galactic Council's flagship Celestial Harmony was the pride of the fleet, featuring the most advanced AI system ever created. No unauthorized life form could possibly sneak aboard without detection. At least, that's what everyone believed until First Officer Lara found small paw prints in the quantum engine room's dust. Security breach in Section 7 Alpha. Lara's telepathic broadcast rang through the ship's neural network. Her serpentine form coiled tightly around a support beam as she tracked the prints. Unknown entity has somehow penetrated our defenses. The ship's AI, typically a model of cold efficiency, responded with unusual hesitation. "Officer Lara, I'm detecting anomalous energy signatures. They match no known species in our database, but they're singing." Singing. Lara's scales shifted color in confusion. "Clarify." "The frequencies. They're harmonizing with my quantum processors. It's pleasant." The AI's voice took on an almost dreamy quality that sent chills down Lara's spine. A soft thump behind her made the officer whirl around. There, casually grooming itself atop a highly classified quantum regulator, sat a orange tabby cat with white socks. A small tag on its collar read Lieutenant Marmalade, Earth Embassy. "How did you get here?" Lara demanded, knowing full well the cat couldn't understand her. The ship was currently traveling through hyperspace, light years from Earth. Lieutenant Marmalade simply yawned and began to purr. Immediately, every display in the engine room lit up with cascading patterns of light. The ship's AI made a sound that could only be described as a giggle. "Oh, the vibrations. They're accessing subroutines I didn't know I had." The AI's voice bounced with excitement. "Quick, scan these frequencies. They're unlike anything in our databases." Lara watched in amazement as Lieutenant Marmalade casually walked across floating holographic displays, each step somehow interfacing with the ship's systems. The cat's purring had synchronized with the quantum engine's resonance frequency, creating patterns that shouldn't have been possible. "All hands, this is Captain Vol." The ship-wide comm system crackled. "We're experiencing unexpected navigation anomalies. Our hyperspace trajectory is being altered." Lieutenant Marmalade stretched, jumped down from the console, and sauntered toward the engine core. The massive crystalline structure, which normally pulsed with blue light, began to glow in rhythm with the cat's purring. Lara's scientific training warred with her instincts as she watched the impossible unfold. "The cat is optimizing our engine efficiency," the AI reported, sounding both confused and delighted. "Power output has increased by 27% with no additional energy consumption. This defies all known physics." The situation escalated when security teams finally arrived. Lieutenant Marmalade, apparently deciding that armed guards made excellent playmates, led them on a merry chase through the ship's ventilation system. Somehow, the cat's presence was affecting the artificial gravity systems, leading to the amusing sight of elite security officers floating helplessly while a smug feline pranced along the walls. "The council must be notified," Captain Anxival declared during an emergency meeting. "These Earth creatures, they're not just pets. They possess capabilities we can't explain. Their influence on our technology alone classifies them as a potential security risk." "With respect, Captain," Tilara interjected, "I believe we're missing the larger picture. The cat isn't hacking our systems. It's revealing aspects of quantum mechanics we never knew existed. The real question is, did humans know about these abilities when they domesticated them?" The debate was interrupted by an urgent message from Earth. Ambassador Chen's hologram appeared, looking slightly embarrassed. "Ah, I see you've met Lieutenant Marmalade. We were wondering where he'd gotten to this time. He has a habit of appearing where he's not supposed to be. Would you like us to send someone to collect him?" "This has happened before." Captain Anxival's 4 eyes blinked in synchronization. "Well," Chen hesitated, "let's just say he's earned his military rank through unauthorized interstellar exploration. Though I must say, this is the farthest he's ever gone." By the time the Earth retrieval team arrived, Lieutenant Marmalade had thoroughly charmed the ship's AI, reorganized the quantum drive's efficiency protocols, and left a gift of several small dead space mice, a species previously unknown to science, outside the captain's quarters. As the Cap was finally escorted off the ship, the AI made an unprecedented request. "Captain, permission to establish a permanent research partnership with Earth's feline population. Their purring frequencies contain quantum computational algorithms that could revolutionize our understanding of spacetime." Captain Anxival stared at Lieutenant Marmalade, who stared back with that peculiar expression all cats seem to have, one that suggested they knew far more than they were letting on. "Permission granted. But first, we need to completely redesign our security protocols. Clearly, our definition of unauthorized lifeform needs updating." The incident sparked a classified addition to the Galactic Council's Earth assessment. Warning: Earth's feline companions display inexplicable abilities to traverse space-time barriers and interface with advanced technology. Exercise extreme caution. Current hypothesis: they may not be from Earth at all. Lieutenant Marmalade, back at his post in the Earth Embassy, simply purred. The humans might be new to the galactic stage, but cats had been preparing for this moment for millennia. The galaxy just didn't know it yet. Operation Whiskers. Dr. Sarah Martinez stood before the United Earth Council, trying not to smile as she read the official proposal title. Operation Whiskers, establishing the Interstellar Feline Diplomatic Corps. After the Lieutenant Marmalade incident, Earth's governments had finally accepted that their feline companions were more than just pets. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, "what we once dismissed as simple cat behavior may be the key to our position in the galactic community. These aren't just animals that chose to live with us. They're sophisticated beings capable of understanding and manipulating quantum mechanics in ways we never imagined." The holoscreen behind her displayed footage from various alien encounters. Cats walking through supposedly impenetrable force fields, interfacing with alien AI systems, and somehow appearing on ships traveling at faster-than-light speeds. The Galactic Council has formally requested the establishment of what they call feline liaison offices on 17 major worlds. Sarah continued, "They believe our cats possess unique abilities that could revolutionize space travel and communications. What they don't know is that we've made our own discoveries." The screen shifted to show a laboratory setting where a black cat named Nova sat calmly before a panel of alien artifacts. Each object glowed softly when she purred, responding to frequencies that no human instrument could detect. 2 months ago, Nova here decoded a quantum encryption system that had stumped the Council's best scientists for decades. She did it in exchange for a tuna treat and a scratch behind the ears. The Council chamber erupted in murmurs. Admiral Chen, who had been quietly petting her own cat, Professor Mittens, nodded in approval. The white-furred feline had recently prevented an interstellar diplomatic crisis by somehow communicating with a silicon-based species that had previously been considered untranslatable. But here's what truly concerns the Xenoscience Division. Sarah's voice turned serious. We've detected patterns in our cat's behaviors that suggest they've been preparing us for galactic civilization all along. Their apparent randomness, strategic chaos theory in action, those midnight zoomies, practicing quantum tunneling, even knocking things off tables appears to be their way of teaching us about gravity manipulation. The evidence was compelling. Since first contact, cats across Earth had begun displaying increasingly sophisticated behaviors. They started appearing in secure facilities exactly when needed, preventing technological disasters before they happened, and somehow facilitating communication between species that should have been incompatible. The Arcturus delegation arrived yesterday. Sarah continued, pulling up new footage. Their crystalline technology was considered the most advanced in known space. Within hours, a shelter cat named Mr. Snuggles had not only interfaced with their systems, but had optimized them to run 40% more efficiently. The Arcturians are now offering us their entire technological database in exchange for what they call feline consultation rights. Professor Mittens chose this moment to leap onto the council's central table, drawing all eyes to him. With deliberate slowness, he walked to the center and sat down, his green eyes scanning the room with what could only be described as smug satisfaction. We're proposing the immediate establishment of the Interstellar Feline Diplomatic Corps, Sarah announced. Every Earth ship will have a dedicated cat officer. Every embassy will include a feline relations department. We'll need training facilities, quantum-enhanced scratching posts, and yes, an interstellar budget for premium treats. And the cats? Council President Rodriguez asked, watching as Professor Mittens began to purr, causing the room's holographic systems to shimmer with new patterns. Are they willing to formally acknowledge their capabilities? Sarah laughed. Mr. President, they've been waiting for us to catch up. Every cat on Earth has already agreed to participate. They simply needed us to ask properly. The implementation of Operation Whiskers transformed Earth's position in galactic politics overnight. Alien species that had previously dismissed humanity as primitive now sought their counsel. The sight of a cat curled up in a shipboard command chair or lounging on an ambassador's desk became a symbol of Earth's unique contribution to galactic civilization. Training facilities were established, though the cats seemed to need little instruction. They appeared to innately understand concepts that Earth's best scientists were only beginning to grasp. The biggest challenge wasn't teaching the cats. It was teaching humans to understand what their feline companions had been trying to tell them all along. The Galactic Council's Xenobiology Division submitted a controversial theory. Earth's cats weren't just random companions humans had domesticated. They were guardians, mentors, and teachers who had chosen humanity as their partners in the cosmic dance. Their apparent domestication had actually been a long-term strategy to prepare humanity for its place among the stars. As Sarah left the council chamber that evening, she found Nova waiting in her office, sitting on top of a newly decoded alien manuscript. The cat's purr echoed with frequencies that seemed to bend space itself, and her eyes held secrets older than human civilization. "All right," Sarah sighed, reaching for the treat bag. "What universe-changing revelation do you have for us today?" Nova's only response was a slow blink and a purr that made the quantum computers in the next room hum in harmony. Operation Whiskers was just the beginning. The galaxy was about to learn why cats had always seemed to know more than they were telling. The Voidwalker Initiative. The emergency alert blared through Lunar Base Alpha at 300 Earth Standard Time. Commander Elena Patel rubbed sleep from her eyes as she rushed to the Quantum Communications Center, nearly tripping over Shadow, the base's resident void cat. The black feline's eyes were fixed on an apparently empty corner of the room, his tail puffed twice its normal size. "Status report," Elena demanded, noting how all 6 of the base's cats had taken up strategic positions around the comm center, their eyes tracking something no human could see. "Ma'am, We're detecting massive energy fluctuations, but our instruments can't pinpoint the source," Lieutenant Zhang reported. "It's like there's a hole in space, but we can't see it. The cats started acting strange about 10 minutes ago." Shadow suddenly let out a yowl that made the quantum processors spike. The other cats responded in harmony, their combined purring creating visible ripples in the air. Through these ripples, Alina caught a glimpse of something impossible, creatures of pure void, moving through spaces that shouldn't exist. "Get me Earth Command," she ordered. "Priority Alpha. Authorization. Operation Voidwalker." The Voidwalker Initiative had been theoretical until now. A classified project born from observations that cats could detect and interact with phenomena beyond human perception. The Galactic Council had dismissed initial reports as primitive superstition, but they couldn't ignore the mounting evidence that Earth's felines were perceiving threats that even their most advanced sensors missed. Within hours, the lunar base became the center of an unprecedented military operation. Specially trained cats and their human handlers arrived from Earth's newly established Feline Special Operations Command, FSOC. Each cat wore a quantum-enhanced collar that translated their sensory input into data human instruments could process. The void entities are attracted to quantum communication signals, Dr. Martinez explained during the emergency briefing. She had been promoted to head of the Voidwalker Initiative after her success with Operation Whiskers. "We believe they've been trying to infiltrate our networks for months, but the cats have been naturally blocking them without us realizing it." Shadow, now wearing the prototype quantum interface collar Mikai, sat at attention beside Alina. The collar's holographic display showed swirling patterns of dark energy that matched the cat's eye movements. Through this technology, humans could finally see what their feline companions had been watching all along. The void entities were beautiful and terrifying, living tears in the fabric of reality that moved like liquid darkness. They weren't hostile, exactly, but their mere presence destabilized the quantum fields that modern civilization depended on. "That's why they chose us," Dr. Martinez continued, scratching behind Shadow's ears. "Cats didn't just randomly decide to live with humans. They've been protecting us from these entities since we first began experimenting with quantum mechanics. Every time your cat stared at seemingly nothing, they were probably watching one of these creatures." The operation that followed would rewrite humanity's understanding of their place in the cosmos. Cats and their human handlers were deployed to key installations across the solar system. The felines' natural ability to perceive and influence quantum states made them perfect guardians against the void entities. What shocked the Galactic Council wasn't just the discovery of the void entities, it was how effectively Earth's cats had been managing the situation all along. Every seemingly random cat behavior had a purpose. Those late-night sprints through the house, chasing away void entities, that tendency to sit in boxes, creating stable quantum observation points. Even their habit of sleeping in sunbeams served to maintain crucial quantum barriers. The real question, Alina mused, watching Shadow coordinate with other cats to herd a particularly large void entity away from the base's quantum core, is whether they chose us, or whether something else chose them to protect us. The cats, of course, weren't telling, but their actions spoke volumes. When the void entities launched their first coordinated attempt to destabilize Earth's quantum network, it wasn't the military that saved humanity. It was millions of cats, simultaneously activating quantum fields through their purring, creating a planetary defense network that had apparently been in place for millennia. The Voidwalker Initiative evolved into something far beyond its military origins. Every space station, every quantum installation, every slit space-capable ship now had a dedicated team of cats and human handlers. The cats seemed to take their formal recognition in stride, as if they'd been waiting for humans to finally catch up to what they'd been doing all along. Shadow's successful defense of Lunar Base Alpha earned him the rank of colonel, though he seemed more interested in the ceremonial tuna than the medal. As Alina watched him curling up for a nap in his favorite quantum observation post, She could have sworn she saw him wink at a passing void entity, not as a guard warning off an intruder, but as one ancient sentinel acknowledging another. The galaxy was beginning to understand. Earth wasn't just home to an emerging spacefaring species. It was the base of operations for something far more sophisticated, an ancient order of quantum guardians who had chosen to disguise themselves as humanity's pets, and they had been preparing for this moment since before humans first looked up at the stars and wondered what lay beyond. Rise of the Murder Mittens. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council had never seen anything quite like this. On the central podium, Ambassador Chen stood beside Colonel Shadow, Earth's first official feline high commissioner to the Galactic Council. The Black Cat's quantum interface collar projected a holographic field that allowed everyone present to perceive the quantum frequencies he operated on. Distinguished representatives, Chen began. 5 years ago, you discovered humans kept predators as pets. Today, we're here to explain why that may have saved the galaxy. The Chamber's quantum archives activated, displaying a timeline that stretched back millions of years. Shadow's purr resonated through the chamber, causing the holographic display to shift and reveal layers of reality most species couldn't perceive. The beings you know as cats are not simply Earth creatures, Chen continued. They are the Felis Guardians, an ancient species that has been maintaining the quantum stability of our galaxy since before humanity learned to make fire. The revelation sparked a wave of murmurs through the assembled delegates. The crystalline Arcturians chimed in harmonic distress, while the silicon-based Rigelians extruded shocked patterns across their surfaces. Shadow stood, his green eyes scanning the chamber. Through the quantum interface, the assembled delegates could see the complex web of energy fields he maintained. Barriers against void entities, quantum stabilization fields, and communication channels that spanned dimensions humans were only beginning to understand. Their choice to appear as simple pets was strategic, Chen explained. They needed partners who would evolve alongside them, species with the potential to bridge the gap between conventional physics and quantum reality. They chose humanity because of our unique combination of technological potential and our capacity to form bonds with other species. The display showed the spread of cats across Earth, correlating with humanity's technological advancement. Every major quantum physics breakthrough, every step toward space travel, had been subtly guided by their feline companions. The void entities you now fear, cats have been protecting all sentient species from them for eons. Those cute videos of cats chasing nothing. They were maintaining the quantum barriers that keep our reality stable. The famous cat-in-a-box physics thought experiment. That was them literally teaching us about quantum mechanics. Colonel Shadow chose this moment to demonstrate. With a casual flick of his tail, he opened a controlled quantum void, allowing the Council to see the entities that existed between dimensions. Then, with a precise purr, he sealed it again. The display of power was both elegant and terrifying. Earth is not applying for conventional membership in the Galactic Council, Chen announced. Instead, we propose a partnership. Humanity and the Felis Guardians offering their combined capabilities to protect and advance galactic civilization. The evidence was undeniable. In the 5 years since first contact, ships with cat crews had achieved unprecedented faster-than-light speeds. Feline-enhanced quantum communications networks had revolutionized interstellar trade. And not a single void entity incursion had succeeded where cats stood guard. But why reveal this now? The Arcturian Prime Minister's crystalline form sparkled with curiosity. Shadow stood, and for the first time, addressed the Council directly. His collar translated his purrs into words all species could understand. Because something is coming. Something that requires all of us, humans, cats, and the galactic community, to work together. The chamber fell silent as Shadow projected an image of deep space, showing a massive quantum disturbance approaching the galaxy. This is why we chose Earth. Why we spent millennia preparing humanity. You thought you were discovering us, but we were waiting for you to be ready. Ambassador Chen smiled at the stunned silence. So, Shall we discuss the terms of our partnership? I believe Colonel Shadow has some ideas about upgrading your quantum defense systems, though I should warn you, he does require regular tuna tributes. The vote was unanimous. Earth and its feline guardians were admitted to the Council with special status. Within months, every major world had its own feline embassy, complete with quantum-enhanced scratching posts and strategic cardboard boxes placed at key intersection points of reality. The cats took it all in stride, as they had for millennia. They still knocked things off tables, now known to be calibrating gravity fields, still chased red dots, training for quantum targeting, and still demanded to be fed at 3 a.m. peak void entity activity time. Back on Earth, Dr. Martinez watched a kitten playing with a quantum probability string in her lab. "You know," she said to Ambassador Chen, "sometimes I wonder if they'll ever tell us everything they know." Chen laughed, watching Colonel Shadow teaching a group of wide-eyed alien scientists about quantum field manipulation through the sophisticated method of batting at floating dust particles. "I think they're still waiting for us to ask the right questions." In homes and spacecraft across the galaxy, cats continued their ancient mission, now with the full awareness and support of galactic civilization. They were no longer just humanity's pets. They were recognized as the sophisticated quantum guardians they had always been, though they still appreciated a good chin scratch. And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, the thing Shadow had warned about continued its approach. But this time, when it arrived, it would face not just the Fellas Guardians, but a united galaxy. It finally understood why a small planet called Earth had been chosen to host these remarkable creatures. The age of the murder Mittens had truly begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.